The X-Zone radio and TV show is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone radio and TV show or in any manner endorsed by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, Talkstar Radio Network, its affiliated stations, or employees.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Everybody likes a celebration, happy music and conversation. I'd be lying if I said I didn't have the blues. In the corner there's a couple dancing. From the kitchen I can hear them laughing. Oh, I wish I was celebrating too. And I know this night won't last.
And welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide toll free, 1-800-610-7035. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv at hotmail.com, and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. And the X Zone can be heard on the Talkstar Radio Network, the X Zone Broadcast Network, UK High Definition Radio, Euro High Definition Radio, Star Cable, and our growing family of broadcast affiliates right across Canada, the United States, Central America, the Caribbean, South America, the Pacific Rim, Asia, India, Africa, and Europe. If you'd like to listen to the X Zone, 724-365, www.xzone. No, they changed that on me last week. It's xzbn.net/live HTM. That's www.xzbn.net/live HTM. X Zone Nation, we're going to be talking to Nancy Penttila this hour about holistic medicine. Nancy is a wellness expert, a holistic healer, and she's one of the founders of Inner Miracles. And joining me from Timmins, Ontario, is Nancy Penttila. And Nancy, welcome to the X Zone.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my great pleasure, dear. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Nancy.
Well, I work a lot with mind-body healing. So I do hypnosis, neurolinguistic programming, and Psych-K. I'm also a practitioner of reconnective healing. So I used to be a nurse many years ago, and I worked for 12 years as a registered massage therapist, which brought me to wanting to help people on all levels of healing with the mind, body, and spirit.
Why do you think so many people today, Nancy, are turning to alternative medicines or alternative healing processes and slowly breaking away from the established professional Western medical community?
I think people are realizing that, a pill is just basically a Band-Aid. It's covering up what your body is trying to tell you. And having your gallbladder removed, for instance, is also not really necessary in most cases. You can find your healer within and not be tearing out body parts that weren't there by mistake. But people are they want to find more now in their lives, more fulfillment. They want to know what their greater purpose is. And they want to know what their power is from within, really. And they're sick of the pills. They're sick of unnecessary surgeries. Don't get me wrong, Western medicine is great for emergency care. But when it comes to health care, we can do a lot on our own preventatively with our mind, body, and spirit, with what we choose to eat, how we choose to think, how we choose to feel, and how we choose to perceive our lives, really, in general.
Nancy, it seems that we're going back to our basic roots when holistic medicine and natural healing was the medicine of the day.
Yes, we seem to be, for sure, because we've overcomplicated the human body.
And I'm sure the chemicals that we're ingesting, whether it is in food or in the air that we breathe, is certainly new to our bodies. They weren't there in the first place. Our body shouldn't be ingesting these, and we're complicating things, as you said.
Yes, we are, absolutely.
All right, stand by, Nancy. You and I have to take a commercial break. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Okay.
All right, Nancy Penttila is our special guest, Exonation. She is a wellness expert, holistic healer, and founder, or one of the founders, of Inner Miracles. And if you'd like more information, they have a toll-free number, 1-800-MIRACLES. That's 1-800-MIRACLES, which is actually 1-800-984-6472. Nancy and I will be back on the other side of this 2-minute commercial break as the X-Zone continues from our studios in Hamilton. And if you'd like to meet Nancy and Dr. Luc Lemire, they're going to be at the Body, Soul, Spirit Expo being held May 25th until the 27th at the International Center, 6900 Airport Road in Mississauga, Ontario. For more information, visit Body, Soul, Spirit at www.bodysoulspiritexpo.com. My name's Rob McConnell. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Don't go away.
It's amazing how you can speak right to my heart. Without saying a word, you can light up the dark. Try as I may, I could never explain what I hear when you don't say a thing. The smile on your face lets me know that you need me. There's a truth.
Nancy Penttila is our special guest this hour, Exonation. She is a wellness expert, holistic healer, and one of the founders of the Inner Miracles in Timmins, Ontario. Their toll-free number is 1-800-MIRACLES. That's 1-800-984-6472. Maybe, Nancy, we should start at the beginning. If we're going to be talking about health, I think it'd be important to define what exactly health is for our listeners.
Well, health and wellness are truly dimensional. They're multidimensional. They are lifelong processes of conscious development and becoming aware of choices and making decisions toward a more balanced and fulfilling life. Health is not merely the absence of disease. It's a process of searching for the appropriate tools to make you a healthier and happier human being. It's a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. It also encompasses emotional stability, clear thinking, the ability to love, to give and receive love, to create and embrace change, to exercise your intuition, and experience a continuing sense of spirituality. Ultimately, health is about having all dimensions of your life in a state of homeostasis or balance, and that's when the journey we are on as humans is beautiful and aligned with our purpose here on Earth.
So what is happening with the health status of individuals in this present day and age?
Well, stress levels are higher than they've ever been in the history of mankind. We are constantly bombarded by chemical, physical, and emotional stress. So the reality is that you become a product of your environment and how you were raised to deal with conditions such as headaches or colds and flus, heartburn, arthritis. We were conditioned to run to the doctor and take a drug or maybe even have a surgical intervention to remove the problem. And because of this type of thinking, Canadians have been taught to deal with their health matters from an outside-in approach, when true healing comes from within. We expect external factors to make us healthy, and the sad reality is that this approach is failing us terribly. Per capita, we spend more on health care than other nations in the world. We have more hospitals, more medical doctors, more laboratories and scientists making medical discoveries, and we're spending billions of dollars trying to find cures, and yet we're getting sicker and sicker by the minute. So think about it. If North Americans represent 5% of the world population, and yet we consume 55% of all prescription drugs in the world, there's obviously a problem here. Overall, the health status of Canadians is poor. The World Health Organization ranks us and our neighbors over the border as some of the sickest people on earth. And the sad reality is that most of this is preventable.
So tell me, where does one stop with traditional Western medicine and consider going to a holistic healer like yourself?
Well, when you're trying to prevent disease, I would definitely look into the holistic modalities that are up there. And that includes modalities involving your mind, body, your spirit, all different types of different levels of your being, not just the sum of your parts. But when it comes to Western medicine, if you do have a disease, we're not out there to totally replace medicine altogether, but we ideally would love to work together with Western medicine. If, there is something that is acute where they really need medical care, then that's fine. But if you have a chronic illness, in many cases, you can turn to holistic care and really reach different levels that you never thought you could even dream of when it comes to your healing process, because we all have an inner healer. And once you reconnect with that inner healer, it's amazing the changes that will take place within your body and your mind.
How do you deal with skepticism when people come up to you and say, oh, come on, holistic medicine, it's a bunch of hooey?
Well, it's just a lack of education about it. A lot of people don't know about it, and I'm fine with helping them out and answering any questions they have. But it's not as common as it used to be. More and more people are definitely leaning towards the holistic approach nowadays.
Does holistic healing have a recognized scientific track record?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's so many different reports and research that's been done in the past, and that is currently being done. So, yeah, I could definitely provide you with some links to some of the research where you could see for yourself how powerful it's been.
If holistic medicine is so great, how come it's not being accepted by mainstream caregivers? And that basically holistic medicine is still in the back rooms or in the closet?
Well, actually, it's more and more pronounced than it has been in the past. And a lot of healthcare practitioners in Western medicine are referring their patients to holistic care as well. But some of them have limits in their license. They could lose their license if they're sending people to too many different holistic modalities, such as chiropractic and whatnot. I've been told by medical doctors that they could actually lose their licenses for that.
But why do you think that is?
I'm not really sure. I don't know if it's, there's a lot of money to be made with pharmaceuticals, so I don't know. I'm not
because
I'm not sure.
You'd think that if holistic medicine was as great as people are claiming it is that it would be, you'd have larger hospitals that practice holistic medicine instead of the traditional professional Western medicine.
Yeah. Well, I think it could be just more a lack of awareness. Years ago, there's just been a more Western approach that was taken suddenly, and it just was veered that way. And there's more control over the nation that way in regards to disease and pharmaceuticals, and I guess with our food as well, like our FDA, our food has a lot of crap in it too, right? So, and that's approved of, and it shouldn't be. So, there's a lot of questionable things we could talk about today.
What kind of training does a holistic practitioner go through compared to a professional medical doctor?
Well, it depends on which profession you're looking at. Say a chiropractor. My husband studied in Dallas, and he studied he did his undergrad in Canada, in Ottawa, for 4 years, and then he did 3 consecutive years with no breaks in Dallas for chiropractic.
Well, you see, I don't put a chiropractor into the same category as a holistic healer.
No.
I'm talking about people who call themselves holistic practitioners. What kind of training do they go through? Are there courses in Canada that are recognized, or do they have to go to Guatemala to get a course?
Oh, no, there's courses in Canada, absolutely. All throughout Canada and the United States and throughout the entire world. There's all kinds of courses, but there are several in Canada that are available. And it depends on the modality. There's so many different modalities that you could look into. Some are a few years, and they don't require any previous healthcare experience, and others do. So it depends what you're looking into.
Are the degrees of Doctor of Holistic Medicine recognized?
Yes, they are. Yeah, naturopathic doctors, they are definitely recognized. You mean covered under the Regulated Health Practitioners Act?
Yes.
Yeah, registered massage therapists and registered naturopathic doctors as well are covered. But other than that, not too many other modalities are.
So how does a listener know whether or not they're seeing someone who is credible, like you and your husband, compared to the lady who opens up a storefront operation, calls herself a holistic healer, and actually may know nothing except how to con people?
Oh, yeah, there could be a lot of con artists, actually. Yeah, they should have certificates posted on the walls, and they should be part of, say, the National Guild of Hypnotists or whatnot. There's different certifications regulations that you have to go through in certain professions, and I'm part of the guild, and you should have that posted on your wall if you are certified.
How does hypnotherapy fit into holistic medicine?
Well, hypnosis, you're working mainly with the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind makes up 90% of your mind, and it stores everything that you've ever had happen to you in your life, any word that's ever been said to you, along with all your perceptions of every event or action or word, or like say if you've had any loss or grief or trauma in your life, all of your perceptions that are associated to that trauma, perceptions about yourself, about life itself, they're all stored in your subconscious. Now, this affects you on a cellular level. So if you have negative belief patterns, then you're going down a path of destruction, basically, even at a cellular level, because typically your thinking would be negative, your emotions would be negative, and your choices in life would resonate with that as well and be negative and not promoting health and well-being, or vice versa. You could have positive beliefs as well.
But years ago, there was no such thing as holistic medicine. Well, there may have been, but it wasn't practiced and it wasn't promoted and it wasn't as widely known about as it is today. And there weren't people who were waiting to get in to see a hypnotherapist because they had problems, and yet these people survived, and they survived very well. What's happened in society, or to the members of society, where holistic medicine, professional medicine, chiropractors, Reiki, massage therapists, and the list goes on and on and on and on, are now being sought out by society? Or are these just little slices of the apple pie that New Age medicine and the New Age genre is quick to fill?
Well, actually, hypnosis is quite an old therapy. It dates back to the 1800s, and it was used for many different things, including hypnobirthing, even back in the day. But I think now that we've overcomplicated health and disease, and people have lost control, they've lost the power over their own health, or to think a certain way. Our society dictates so much now that it affects us on all levels of our being, that now holistic medicine or holistic therapies have been more sought after to kind of remedy this loss of power that people are suffering from. There's just been such an epidemic of disease and dysfunction within our society. I think that's what's happening now. More and more people are seeking for answers within and trying to help others as a whole being, to help with total healing.
All right, Nancy, you and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. Please stand by.
Okay.
Nancy Penttila is our special guest of this hour, Exo Nation. 1-800-MIRACLES. That's 1-800-MIRACLES. And Nancy and Dr. Luc Lemire are going to be at the Body, Soul, Spirit Expo May 25th until the 27th at the International Center, 6900 Airport Road in Mississauga, Ontario. For more information on the Body, Soul, Spirit Expo, visit www.bodysoulspiritexpo.com. I'll be back right after the news. Don't go away.
There's a truth in your eyes saying you live.
You're listening to the X Zone Radio Show, live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network, X Zone Broadcast Network, UK High Definition Radio, Euro High Definition Radio, and Star Cable. Our toll-free telephone number worldwide is 1-800-610-7035. Our email address, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com, and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. One 1-800-610-7035, worldwide toll-free. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com, and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. My guest this hour is Nancy Penttila, and Nancy is a holistic healer. She's a wellness expert and one of the founders of Inner Miracles in Timmins, Ontario. If you'd like more information, 1-800-984-6472. That's 800-984-6472. Nancy, with all the electronic gizmos today, we've got cell phones, we've got cell towers it seems like every 20 feet you've got a new cell tower. You've got kids who are using handheld devices. You've got kids who are using iPads, iPod, this, that. How are the modern technologies of today affecting us?
Well, we are absorbing a lot of EMF, electromagnetic frequencies, from these objects, which are definitely interfering with our health and well-being at a cellular level and an energetic level. So there's a lot of radiation that we are absorbing from these devices. So if we could minimize the use of these, which is almost impossible nowadays, that would be great. There are some gadgets that are available to counteract the forces of the EMFs. I believe a company called BioPro has those available. And you could actually put these devices on your cell phone, on your big screen televisions and whatnot, and that'll help to counteract some of the EMFs that we are absorbing within our beings, and help to rebalance our energetic levels.
So where should the revamping of the way we live start? With the kids or with the adults?
I should start with the adults as well. Well, I would say, yeah, the adults. We're supposed to be setting an example for these kids, so absolutely, and we have to reinforce this with our children. So, yeah, a lot of them are on their Game Boys all the time. They're not even communicating with anybody anymore. They're constantly texting other people while they're supposed to be in a conversation with you. So this is affecting not just our energetic levels, but also our relationships with one another. So it's affecting us on all levels, really.
So how can we turn everything around? I'm asking you as a holistic healer and a wellness expert. How do we start turning things around in our own lives to become more proactive when it comes to our own health and wellness?
I think one thing we can do in regards to all of the radiation and the new technology is set aside only so much time where we're on the computer outside of work. I mean, if you're working regularly with computers, obviously that's hard to do, but you could also set aside time at home where you only allow your children on these gadgets for so long. Otherwise, you're sitting at the table having dinner together as a family, spending time together as a family outside of using these gadgets or watching TV or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing you could do is reach out and get Reiki or reconnective healing or different modalities that will help to rebalance your energetic levels and your body is on all levels and bring you back into a homeostasis. And that'll counteract the effects of all the radiation from these gadgets.
How does Reiki work?
Reiki works with all of the chakras within your body, which are like energetic channels or vortices in your body. So it opens them up and balances them, and they affect all of your organs and your glands and whatnot. So it helps to, like sometimes our our chakras will close or lose their balance just from emotional stress or mental stress or chemical stress. So Reiki will help to open them and rebalance them.
So how do you open these? Like if something is shut physiologically, how do you open it?
Yes. It's just the magnetic forces that are applied from the practitioner, through the practitioner. It's like an energy exchange type of thing through the practitioner to the client.
Now, a lot of people, when it comes to holistic wellness, talk about how important meditation is. Do you agree with that?
I believe in some acute cases, medication may be
meditation,
handy,
not medication, meditation.
Meditation, sorry. Oh, meditation is so powerful. Meditation is, you can change your biochemistry with meditation.
And once again, as somebody who may be listening for the first time anywhere, not knowing what we're talking about, how does meditation work?
Well, basically with meditation, you're reconnecting within, which we don't get to do very often from day to day. You're creating a higher awareness of your relationship with your body, with your spirit, and you can sometimes reach higher levels of awareness in regards to your health or different issues in your life, but it's just to be still and to be quiet and to reconnect to your source of creation, basically. And when you get into this alpha state, healing can occur because it's so peaceful, and it helps to bring about homeostasis on all levels of your being. So healing takes place on all levels when you can just be still and quiet and focus on the healing.
You know, when people think of meditation, they think of a yogi in the lotus position somewhere. When and where should people meditate?
Well, they could do it where they won't be disturbed, where it's peaceful, preferably somewhere where you feel that it's a sacred place for you. But some people have to do it at work. I have clients that will do it at work over their lunch hour. They'll just take out 10 minutes during their lunch hour just to be still and reconnect with their mind, body, and spirit. But preferably, if you could do it in the morning before you even go to work, that would be great, and in the evening. So 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night would be really wonderful to start. Some people work their way up to an hour in the morning and an hour at night, but not everyone has time for that. But even doing a guided meditation every day, downloading something off the internet that helps you to cope with stress and health and deal with health and well-being to promote that. There's so many options online now.
Are there possibly too many options?
Yeah, there can be. I mean, it depends. There's so many different people out there that are doing meditation, so it depends who you resonate with energetically and whose voice you resonate with. But one of my favorites is Dr. Brian Weiss. You can download his anti-stress meditations at soundstrue.com or hayhouse.com, and he's wonderful. I love him, and I know a lot of my clients resonate with him as well. So, but there is a huge variety, absolutely. But
I'm going to ask you a very direct question, and I'd like a very honest answer.
Okay.
Has there ever been a situation where someone that you've known or you've heard of has been involved with holistic medicine and they just find it doesn't work for them and they've returned back to the Western medical community for help?
Well, most people have received at least some benefit. I don't really know anyone who's been discouraged where they didn't keep up with their holistic care
Now,
But I'm
is
sure
is
some
holistic
cases
care
happen.
is holistic care expensive, and do government or independent insurance companies cover it?
Oh, no, most companies don't cover, unfortunately. They'll cover naturopathic doctors and whatnot, but hypnosis isn't covered, or any of the other modalities that I do. So it can be a little costly for some people, especially hypnosis for some, because it's 4 different sessions. It's more costly. Psych K is a one-time session, and your changes, your new perceptions and beliefs are instilled in one session. So a lot of people go for that one because it's really affordable, and it really affects people on all levels.
Is there a danger of somebody taking something like Psych K when they really need hypnosis? Are they going to be suffering because they couldn't afford the better treatment?
Oh, no, absolutely not. Psych K and hypnosis both deal with the subconscious mind. The reason the Psych K is so quick is because you're joining all aspects of the mind, so the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the superconscious mind. And you're putting the client in a whole brain state. Most of us are right brain or left brain dominant, but with this process, you're putting them in a whole brain state with certain techniques, and you're locking in the new beliefs with the physical body using kinesiology. So it's very, very powerful, and people actually prefer that one in a lot of ways because it's you notice the results almost instantly, and it's long lasting. The change is lasting.
What kind of ailments would a person use Psych K for?
You could use it for anything, whether you've been diagnosed with cancer or given a poor prognosis. Say if you've been told you have 2 months to live, if you change that belief, you can change that self-fulfilling prophecy to one where you can increase your odds of survival and not become a slave to those words of.
But if a doctor was to tell me, based on the tests that he's run and the MRI or the CAT scan that he has taken, that I have cancer and I have 6 months to live, how is Psych K going to change that?
Well, your subconscious mind is actually your physical body. It controls your blood pressure, your heart rate, your breathing patterns, and your biochemistry and your DNA transcription. So that's why we are not slaves to our genetics. We're not slaves to the words given to us by anybody, because if you change your beliefs and perceptions, you change your biochemistry.
So are you telling me that Psych K will actually cure cancer?
Well, I'm not saying there's a guarantee that it would, but there have been many studies to show that changes take place.
Have you ever had a patient who's come to you with cancer and Psych K has cured them?
Well, we don't do the studies here to prove that.
Well, how do you know it works or it doesn't work?
Well, you see the changes in people.
All right, let me ask you in a different way.
Okay.
Somebody comes to you and they say, I was just told by my doctor I've got cancer, I've got 6 months to live, I want to take Psych K.
I encourage it, absolutely. I don't discourage them from seeing their doctor.
All right, now, after the Psych K, do they go back to their doctor and say, have another examination, and the doctor tells them they're cured?
Well, there have been cases where the tumors have been gone, yes, or they've been shrinking.
All right, now these are cases you yourself worked on.
Yes.
Okay.
With reconnective healing too, different things that we've done here. We've had some cases.
So if it actually works, why isn't this practice done in hospitals instead of giving people 6 months to live? Why aren't they given the opportunity to undergo this therapy or this treatment to save lives?
Well, I believe it's lack of awareness and fear all combined. Western medicine is taught a certain way to help people, and I know that their hearts are truly into helping others, and they're following their paradigm. But it's simply lack of awareness of what else is out there. I don't believe, like in some instances, some people aren't open to the holistic paradigm, but there are doctors who are curious about it. But because their license has so many restrictions, they don't delve into these therapies and look into it as much. However, in Europe, reconnective healing is offered in hospitals there, and we actually had medical doctors in our courses when we were taking that course, and they were practicing in Europe.
Well, you take, for example, there's the Cancer Treatment Centers of America that advertise widely on TV, where they incorporate both the traditional medicine as well as New Age and spiritual healing practices.
Yes, there are some for sure.
And yet you don't see that here in Canada.
No, it's unfortunate. And that's why we're creating this Inner Miracles program, because we want people to have access to be fully empowered themselves. We don't want people to rely on us for care. We want to empower them because we all have that power within us. Incurable means curable from within, really. There's no guarantees of curing something, but there will be healing that takes place at some level for people when they do look into different ways of healing.
Now, as a healer yourself, what has been the most dramatic healing that you have ever seen based on your treatment?
Well, cancer, definitely. I had a woman who was in her mid-30s who was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and this was last year. She was given 2 months to live, and one thing I do recommend is try not to get a prognosis, because once you have that in your mind, it can be tough for you to overcome that if you really believe it. But this woman was very open, and she came into to have Psych K and reconnective healing, and she is now cancer-free. She made changes in her diet, which we help people with that, to help them to actually crave healthy foods and not junk food, and to stick to pH-balanced foods, and to think a certain way, to move, to treat their bodies as temples and not sewers.
Nancy, you and I have got to take a break. Please stand by. Nancy Penttila is our special guest this hour. Exonation 1-800-984-6472. That's 1-800-984-6472. And we'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as the X Zone continues from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, with yours truly, Rob McConnell. Don't go away. And welcome back, everyone. This is the X Zone. My name is Rob McConnell, and our special guest this hour is a very interesting lady. Her name is Nancy Penttila, and Nancy is going to be at the Body, Soul, Spirit Expo being held at the International Center, May 25th until the 27th. That's at 6900 Airport Road in Mississauga, right across from Pearson International Center. So if you'd like to find out more information about the Body, Soul, Spirit Expo, all you have to do is visit their website at www.bodysoulspiritexpo.com. Now, if you'd like more information, or if you'd like to call up Nancy and talk to her about getting a consultation one-on-one with her or Dr. Luc Lemire, the toll-free number is 1-800-984-6472. That's 1-800-984-6472. That's 1-800-984-6472. Nancy, before we went to the break, we touched briefly on a topic that I'm sure a lot of people would like to know more information on, and that's the proper diet. Because I've been told, and I believe that it's what we feed our internal engine is how we get the outer goings.
No, absolutely.
So what kind of foods should we eat, and what should we stay away from?
Well, we definitely need to look at the pH balanced diet. So we want our body to be in a more neutral state on the pH balance scale. Most of our foods that we are consuming nowadays are acidic foods, such as meat and dairy, cheese, eggs, and all the processed foods that you find in the center aisles at the grocery store. And a lot of people are eating on the run at McDonald's and whatnot, and these are all acidic foods. Now, cancer loves acidic biochemistry. So So really, you're leading to a level of disease and dysfunction within your body when you're gravitating towards these foods. Ideally, you want pH-balanced foods that are more alkaline to keep your body in neutral state. So these foods would be vegetables and fruits, preferably organic whenever possible. It is a little bit more expensive, but it does make a huge difference in your antioxidant levels in your body. And you can eat beans and lentils and nuts, and you can have such a powerful, wonderful, balanced diet just through a vegan diet. But we certainly don't push that on everybody. You can start slowly, or at least introduce it into your regime gradually, so that you don't have to have every meal as a vegan meal. But ultimately, if you want ultimate health and well-being, that's what you would be focusing on. Now, the meals that we have a cookbook that's coming out with our site, and the recipes are so delicious that my brother, who has been a major carnivore all his life, actually loves these meals.
Nancy, I hate to do this, but we've just run out of time. I want to thank you so much for joining us. And X Zone Nation, once again, Nancy is going to be at the Body, Soul, Spirit Expo, May 25th to the 27th with her husband, Dr. Luc Lemire. And you can join us there. It's on May 25th to the 27th at the International Centre, 6900 Airport Road in Mississauga, Ontario. For more information, www.bodysoulspiritexpo.com. And for more information with Nancy Penttila or her husband, 1-800-984-6472. That's 800-984-6472. We'll be back after the news. Don't go away.